couldn't have messed this up worse if they tried. That's not a hot take from a YouTube comment. It's Charles Barkley, live on national TV, calling out the WNBA's leadership, its players, and the petty jealousy, threatening to sabotage everything Caitlin Clark has built. And Barkley didn't whisper it. He exploded. Some of these players need to stop being jealous and start being grateful, he said, and he didn't stop there. So what set him off? Why is Caitlin Clark, the player who's putting the entire league on the map, suddenly the target of controversy, jealousy, and outright disrespect? And how did the WNBA allow one of its brightest moments to get swallowed up by baseless allegations and division? When the WNBA announced an official investigation into allegations of racial misconduct by Indiana Fever fans during their season opener against Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky, it should have been serious news, but Charles Barkley wasn't buying any of it. He cut straight through the noise with a brutal, sarcastic jab. If you got a bunch of dudes in a room trying to screw this up, they couldn't have done it worse than these women have. That wasn't just frustration, that was fury, because to Barkley, the league had just hijacked its own momentum, shifting attention away from Caitlin Clark's historic triple-double and the Fever's dominant 93-58 win, and throwing it into a media circus that had zero receipts to back it up. Let's be clear, Barkley wasn't downplaying serious accusations. What he was demanding was evidence. Where's the proof? He asked, and he wasn't the only one. Fans, commentators, and even Fever players were stunned that instead of headlines about a record-setting rookie, the narrative was now about unproven claims of racism in the stands. The WNBA didn't just investigate by doing so publicly. They gave legitimacy to rumors before they were confirmed, and that's where Barkley drew the line. This doesn't help the league, he snapped. We're not even talking about basketball anymore. The story wasn't Clark's excellence. It was the controversy surrounding her presence. And then the hammer dropped. The WNBA released their findings. No evidence of fan misconduct. None. After reviewing security footage, interviewing fans, and speaking with arena staff, the league found no proof that anything discriminatory happened in the crowd. But here's the part that really set people off. The WNBA didn't apologize. Not to the fans, not to the Indiana Fever, not even to the people they accused. And Barkley was furious. You let baseless claims dominate the headlines, he said. You turned your own fans into villains. And for what? For many, the damage was done, and the league's silence only made it worse. Then came the real truth. Barkley refused to sugarcoat jealousy. There's some petty jealousy going on here, he said flat out, and it's really unfortunate. His voice sharpened as he explained how Caitlin Clark wasn't just a rookie phenom. She was the reason the WNBA was finally gaining national attention. Since Clark's arrival, WNBA ticket sales skyrocketed 93%. Draft viewership up 400%. She was pulling numbers Steph Curry would be proud of. Steph didn't make people jealous, Barkley said. He made people money, and that's what made the backlash so confusing. Why tear down the one player who's lifting everyone else up? She's not the player who moves the needle, Barkley snapped. She is the needle. He meant it literally. Clark alone is responsible for nearly half of the WNBA's broadcast value. Her jersey, #1 in sales. Her name, trending daily. She's making the league relevant in a way no one ever has. And that's not opinion, that's data. The kind that sponsors look at. Well, the kind that drives better salaries, better arenas, better travel. Yet instead of embracing her, some players are choosing to make her the enemy. The visibility she brings is going to fill all our wallets up, Barkley said. If you can't see that, you're in the wrong business. Let's call it what it is, a blown opportunity. Instead of celebrating Clark's generational performance and Indiana's powerful start, the league drowned in scandal and division. And the worst part? The fans saw it coming. The moment the allegations surfaced, Fever supporters said it was baseless. And when the league confirmed that, they got no vindication, no apology, no respect. Barkley knew what that meant. This league's got enough problems without players turning on each other, he said. He wasn't just talking to players, he was talking to the front office, the people who let jealousy drive the narrative instead of letting talent define it. Barkley drew a hard line. On one side, the new fans. People buying league pass, wearing Clark jerseys, tuning into games they never watched before. On the other side, the old guard. Fans and players who didn't want change, who didn't want outsiders showing up, cheering for a blonde rookie from Iowa. But that gatekeeping? It's over. We're here, Barkley said, echoing what so many new fans have been feeling. And we don't take this lying down. The WNBA wanted growth. Clark brought it. The only thing standing in the way now is the league's refusal to protect its own momentum. So let's talk numbers. From 2022 to 2023, WNBA ticket sales grew by 16%. In 2024, they jumped by 93%. Draft ratings up from 40% growth to 400%. Viewership from 20% to 180%. You can't ignore that kind of acceleration. And as Barkley pointed out, if the league kept growing at its pre-Clark pace, it would have taken until 2029 to reach the number she delivered in just 5 weeks. That's not normal. That's not replaceable. That's a golden goose. The math doesn't lie, and neither does the money. So Barkley made one final plea. Stop tearing her down. These women should be rallying behind her, he said. Caitlin Clark is giving them the spotlight they've wanted for years. And he's right, unity is the only way forward. The WNBA is at a crossroads. Embrace the player who's changing the game, or let ego and insecurity destroy the biggest moment in league history. This isn't about playing favorites, it's about playing smart, and Barkley knows better than anyone how fast that window can close. You don't get chances like this often, he warned. Don't blow it. Here's the truth the WNBA has to face. Caitlin Clark isn't the problem, she's the solution. She's making you money. She's bringing the fans. She's getting the world to care. And if that makes some people uncomfortable, maybe it's time to ask why. Jealousy? Ego? Or just fear of change? Charles Barkley doesn't care. He's focused on results, and the results are undeniable. So what now? Will the WNBA finally protect its rising star, or let drama bury her impact? Because one thing is clear, this moment won't last forever. And if the league doesn't seize it now, it may never get another shot. But here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. This isn't just about basketball. It's about identity, pride, and change. Caitlin Clark didn't come into the WNBA asking for special treatment. She came to hoop, and she's been doing that at an elite level since day one. The problem is, her excellence has exposed cracks in a system that wasn't prepared for this kind of spotlight. Cracks in a culture that struggles to celebrate someone new unless they look, sound, or play a certain way. And that's the real issue, isn't it? Clark isn't just dominating on the court. She's dominating the conversation. And for some, that feels like a threat instead of a gift. But if the WNBA can't evolve, if it can't find a way to embrace the player who's finally turned heads worldwide, then it risks collapsing under the weight of its own resentment. Because here's what every business, every brand, every league eventually learns. Growth doesn't wait for comfort. Growth is disruptive, and Caitlin Clark is disruption personified. Charles Barkley knows that. That's why he's shouting from the rooftops. He sees the opportunity, he sees the danger, and he sees the solution standing right in front of the league in a number 22 jersey. So the question remains, what's next? Does the WNBA step into this new era with open arms, or cling to the past and let jealousy call the shots? Because one thing is clear, if the players, the fans, and the league itself can come together, if they can ride this momentum instead of fighting it, this league won't just grow, it will explode. And Caitlin Clark? She'll be remembered not just as a generational talent, but as the spark that changed everything. The clock's ticking. Let's see who's ready to rise